Hello, my name is Laura and I'm on the customer care team here at Keela. In this video, I'm going to go through all the goodies that are coming out with their release 2.7. First thing I'm going to show you is a couple of changes in your organization settings. The first one, real simple. Previously, you were able to disconnect many of the integrations in your Keela account, but we didn't have QuickBooks included. So you will notice if you do have a QuickBooks account connected to Keela, you do now have the option to disconnect it, very similar to the other integrations we have. Next up is receipts and emails. So we've made a number of changes to receipts and emails, including we've cleaned up this screen a little bit to make things just a little bit simpler. The first one is logo and header. So previously you were able to choose a logo and a header for your receipt details, as well as the different acknowledgement letters. We've consolidated this so you only have to choose a logo and header once, and it's going to show up across all your different emails. If you did have different logos and headers across your acknowledgement letters, we did grab the logo and header from your receipt details and populated it within this section here. If you do want to make any changes, just click the edit button. And from here, you'll be able to upload a logo as well as upload a header background image. Next up, we have receipt details. So this one's pretty similar to before. The only thing that we've added, which is a huge enhancement, is the ability to display your receipt in both English and French. So if you toggle that on, take a look at the preview, you'll notice that the French has been included in your receipt going forward. Scrolling down, we have all the acknowledgement letters. As before, we now have them just in their own section. And one of the big changes that we've made here is the ability to specify what content you'd like to include in a receipt that's being printed out. So for example, if I take a look at donation here, click this edit button, everything is going to look the same as before. So this is all the information if your receipt's being sent by email, including the email body itself. But if you scroll down, we have a new option here for your printed letter content. So do you want it the same as your email content here? If so, go ahead and continue selecting that, or you can deselect that and you can specify a different letter for any receipts that you will be printing. So I'm going to go ahead and just populate this with printed receipt details, save, and I'm going to show you how this works in practice. Here I am in Daffy Duck's account. He donated $450, and since he didn't donate through a Keela donation form, a receipt wasn't automatically generated. So you always have the option to create your receipt from the transaction record. So I'm going to click Create Receipt. And you can see there's a new option here now. You can send this receipt to contact via email. Simply add the email address, click Save, and we'll automatically send that receipt. Or you can intend to print and mail the receipt, and then you'll have the option to generate a PDF acknowledgement letter for printing as well. So in that last section, when you had the option to either include the email content as your printed acknowledgement letter, or you could create a new one, this is what this button's going to be generating. So go ahead, check that option, click Save, and you can see that our receipt's attached, as well as the letter that's coming from those acknowledgement settings. While we're here, let's look at this new receipt status that we've added. So this is actually in anticipation of our bulk receipting tool that's coming just in time for receipt season, end of this year or very early next. So every transaction will now have a status according to whether it's been receipted or not. So there's various statuses. There's draft, receipted, delivered, canceled, and ignored and approved. And you're going to see how this all plays out once we have that bulk receipting tool available. In the meantime, check out our knowledge base for the different types of status and how they're automatically generated by the system based on the transaction details. Another update that we've made is the ability to track your revenues and your goals. So, previously under fundraising summary tab here, you could track all your donation goals monthly, quarterly, and yearly. And also, you could track all the different donations in this handy little dashboard here. We've now added the ability to include your revenues as well. Don't forget about those revenues. So, here's all the different goals that you can set, as well as another revenue tracker. We've also made a number of improvements to filters, reporting, and segmentation. First update we made is if you make a contact report, you now have a new customization options, which is to customize your chart by engagement stage. So you can see a breakdown of all your contacts by their engagement stage. Perhaps you even wanted to add a filter like you can do for all reports. And I want to see all the engagement stages for any contacts that live in BC. Now, perhaps you've spent all this time on creating a wonderful report. You have all the data that you need, and perhaps you want to email all those contacts that are represented in that report. Previously, you'd have to go over to segments and rebuild that report using the filters. But as part of the 2.7 release, we've made this a little bit easier, and you can create a segment directly from any report that's contact based. I also wanted to introduce to you a few new filters that we've added to the system. Let's start with the engagement stage. You're now able to filter on contacts with various engagement stages in the system. We've also added the ability to filter on keyword, soft credit, impact area, and source. Just a few more transaction filters to add to your pocket. We've also included the ability to exclude any transactions within a certain date range. So, for example, date received is not between and then a specific date range. Last but not least, we've added the ability for memberships to be their own revenue type. Previously, they were included under purchase, but now when you create a transaction report, you'll see that they're now their own revenue type. One of my favorite enhancements included in 2.7 is the ability to change the contact type. We've received a lot of feedback from customers on this one, so really excited that we can put this live in the system. If you have a company that should actually be an individual, you can now change that type and vice versa, an individual that should be a company. And the way you do that is simply click on that contact that needs to be adjusted. In the More button, you'll be able to change the contact type. And similar to the delete functionality, just confirm that you do in fact want to make this change because it will be irreversible, and go ahead and click confirm. And there we go. My company is now an individual. We made two updates to forms in this release. The first one being from the designer tab. We've made some adjustments to the header upload to accommodate different sizes of images for this header. You can always go ahead and upload an image, and if you need to make any further adjustments, you can always do that by adjusting the header height here. Next up, we've added a new way to share your Keela forms. We've added the ability to generate a QR code for each of your forms. This will automatically be generated, and if you do want to use this, all you have to do is right click and you'll be able to save this image to use to share with your contacts. Two updates were made to memberships. When you create a new membership plan, it doesn't matter the duration. You can now set any membership to a fee of $0. We've also added membership IDs to each of the subscriptions, and you'll find them on the subscription level within the contact profile. And that's a real quick summary of all the changes we made to the system in 2.7. Keep your feedback coming. We love to hear from you. So you can send any feedback you have to support@Kila.com, or you can jump into our product portal, which is your direct line to our product team who determines what we're going to be releasing to the system next. So in our product portal, we have under consideration. So all the ideas that we're currently thinking about implementing in the system. Planned, this is what we're currently working on. Next release, this is what's going to be included in our next release. Now you'll notice that these have already been released because as I'm creating this video, they haven't quite yet been released. I'm doing this video ahead of time, but hopefully by the time we have moved everything over to the launch section here, you'll be able to see what's coming up next. Thank you so much for your time, and you'll be hearing from us again very soon. We do have a very packed December full of releases. Most importantly, bulk receipting and the ability to export form responses. So both of those are on their way, and hopefully you'll hear that confirmation from us very soon. Have a great day, and thank you so much for listening.